So a couple months ago, I made a video talking about Unity water buoyancy physics, and a lot of you have been asking for a tutorial. So here I am making a pretty short, sloppy tutorial. But yeah, so for this to work, you're going to need Unity 2022.2 or above. For this, I'm using 2022.2.1 F1, which is the latest release. Then you're going to want to create a new project using 2022.2, and then you're going to want to get the 3D HDRP template and create project. So when your project is finally done loading, you're going to want to make sure that you have the right version of HDRP, and that should be anything 14 and above. I'm using 14.0.4. That's the current release. And then you're going to need to do some simple project setting up to get Unity ready to render water. So you're just going to go up to Edit, Project Settings, and then under Graphics in the HDRP Global Settings, you're going to scroll down to Frame Settings and Cameras, and in Rendering, you'll scroll down all the way over here and you'll see water. I'm just going to want to enable that. And since we're already here, go down to Lighting and enable screen space reflection and transparent screen space reflection. That's optional, but I'm going to use it because I want reflections on my water. Then you're going to want to go into the quality settings in HDRP. Just select the high fidelity settings and then go to water down here in rendering, enable it, and you're going to want to enable script interactions because that is very important for later on. At this point, your project is ready to render water. So what you're going to do is go to the sky and fog volume and add an override, type in water rendering, and it should appear. Just click all right here and enable. Then in the hierarchy, create water surface, ocean, sea, or lake, and boom, you got your water. And with this water, you can mess around with the waves, all sorts of stuff. It's pretty nice that Unity added a water system. It's pretty advanced too. You can turn on caustics and an underwater effect. But once you're done messing with your water, making it look good, you're going to want to go up to General and enable script interactions and full resolution and evaluate ripples. That's just going to make things really accurate. But also going to use a lot of CPU usage. So if you want to make a setting later on that will use less, you can disable full resolution. After that, you can add any object. I'm going to use a cube as an example, and this is going to be the object that floats in the water for us. And all you need to do to this object for now is add a rigid body and disable gravity on it. Once you're done with that, you're going to want to add component and type in a name for a script, create new script, create an add, and that will create and add a script to your cube. Then you're going to want to double click on the script to open it up in Visual Studio. Now that you have it opened up in Visual Studio, you're going to want to go up here and just reference the HDRP pipeline. You're going to do that by saying using Unity engine .rendering .high definition, and now you can reference the water and a bunch of other stuff. Now I'm going to delete the start and update, and I'm going to add some variables. Now I'm just going to add a reference to the rigid body, then 2 floats, 1 depth before submerged, and another float called displacement amount. Then I'm going to add an int for the floaters that the object has, and 2 more floats, 1 for the water drag, and 1 for the water angular drag. Now we're going to have to reference the water system. So what we're going to do is we're going to type water search parameters and just call it search. And then we're going to type water search results and call that search results. From here, you're ready to start coding, so create a fixed update void. And now we're just gonna say rigid body that add force at point physics dot gravity. And I'm going to divide that by how many floaters we have, and then transform dot position and force mode dot acceleration. Then we're going to get the water height at point, so we're going to say search dot start position equals transform dot position, and it's in the fixed update, so it's just going to keep updating. And then we're going to get the water height, so water, and then we're going to add another variable which I forgot, but it's going to be public water surface, and just call that water. And here we're going to type water dot find water height or surface height, and then we're going to do search out search results. Now we're going to make an if statement, transform dot position is less than search results. Now we're going to add an if statement. Now we're going to create an if statement. If transform dot position dot y is less than search results dot height, we're going to make a float called displacement multiply equals mathf dot clamp 01 search results dot height minus transform dot position dot y divided by depth before submerged multiplied by displacement amount. Then we're going to say rigid body dot add force at position new vector 3 0 math f dot abs physics dot gravity dot y multiplied by displacement multiplier 0 transform dot position force mode dot acceleration. And what this is going to do is going to apply gravity to the object instead of having the rigid body apply gravity. So this will make things a lot easier. Then we're going to have the rigid body add force displacement multiply times minus rigid body dot velocity times water drag times time that fixed delta time, force mode, that velocity change. And then we're going to have one more thing, rigid body, that add torque this time, displacement multiply times minus or negative rigid body dot angular velocity times water angular drag times time dot fixed delta time, and then force mode dot velocity change. And from here you are done coding it. This is the entire floater script, so you skipped ahead, you can just copy this and it's going to work for you. Then you're going to want to save and go back into Unity. Oh, I accidentally made a mistake. So right here you're going to want to close that parenthesis right there. So that's why it wasn't floating back up. But now you can save, go back into Unity, and it should work just fine. And from here you can tweak the parameters like the drag and how much up force there is. You can make it like really buoyant or not at all. You can have it, if it's really heavy, it will just stay there. And yeah, so that's the script. But this isn't useful for just one cube. You can also have a much larger cube, add a rigid body to it, same parameters, turn off gravity, 0.01 drag. It's not really important, but still. You can create an empty game object within the cube and place it on the edges, and that will be the floaters. And you can place as many as you want. You can have 5, 6, 7, 8, it doesn't matter. For now I'm only going to use 4. To that you can just add the floater script. Make sure to have one rigid body, force emerge 1, make that 2, 4 floaters, 2. And now you should have a fully functional boat. And you can see how useful this could be, especially if you want to add a ship to your game, and like if you need a specific shape, you can move these where you need them to be, or you know, it could be very useful. And physics still applies to this object, so if I create a second one, it's going to drag this one down, and they're going to drag each other down. And if you make the mass on this one really heavy, it's going to really drag this one down. And physics works exactly the same as you'd think it would for this script. And if you pull it underwater, it'll push it up, and yeah, completely physics driven water buoyancy with the new water system. So thank you for watching. Leave a like down below and let me know if you need more tutorials or anything. I'll love to do that. So yeah.